I mean, there's a lot of people in the AI ethics space that call LLMs spicy autocorrect.
Oh, that's very good. That's another good episode title. All right. Okay. We are on site for Human Tech Week in San Francisco.
Yes, we are.
And we are so excited.
I'm excited
to have this conversation.
What a treat.
Karina Alexanyan, and she has been in space for a long time. And so she can reflect.
So long. An eternity.
You would never know.
A million years.
Immaculate skin.
Oh my God. It's so funny.
And so we have a lot to reflect on together.
Time is weird.
Time is weird. That's one of the first things that we reflected on was that time was weird. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you guys for existing.
We were just talking before we recorded around the rise of women-driven consumer, products and what
girly
is it?
tech.
Girly tech. Okay. Yeah. And you were like, I am unabashedly pro. And I said, we have to hit record.
And I said, I don't know what that is. So
the way I'm thinking about it, or the way I've seen it, is this idea that, and it kind of comes back to the Reese Witherspoon thing too, a little bit. This idea that like technology has primarily been designed by men. For men. And so what does it look like when women design technology? Well, it looks aesthetically pleasing for once. And it's like clever and it like subverts a lot of things. And it's, it's like when you get in a car and there's nowhere to put your purse. It's like, what if women design cars? Like maybe...
Why is my purse always on the floor? Honest to God, why is my purse
when
always
your pants don't have pockets? Like, can we design technology that is useful for us? And
100%.
So coming back to the Reese Witherspoon thing that we brought up in the backlash.
So does everyone know the Reese Witherspoon thing? Do you want to
do.
explain the Reese Witherspoon?
So in mid-April, Reese Witherspoon went on TikTok and made a video saying that she thinks that not enough women are adopting AI and are being left behind. And there's a lot of research around this. And she said, I encourage everybody, we're all going to learn AI. And there was a big backlash against this. Some people accusing her of being a grifter because she secretly backed, I believe it came out that her company had an AI course, but it's like the holding company had an AI course at like Purdue University. And you're like, oh yes, the big money making ventures of ed tech and further education.
It's like Fauci creating COVID, right?
You're like, Anyway, but there was, I think it brought out, it's this lightning rod, right? And I think especially for women, and that's kind of why we came together with this show. And I thought, when you heard about this, what did you think?
Yeah, so this is what I keep coming back to with AI and with all technology. It's a tool. And it's like, what are you trying to accomplish? And then what's the best tool to accomplish the thing?
Right.
So that's kind of where I am with AI. Like, if it's the useful tool for the thing that you're trying to do, then you should know how to use it. Like, expand your toolkit. And I understand the backlash. Like, my kids hate AI.
Yeah, my kids do too.
My kids hate it. My husband loves it, and I'm like, it depends. It depends.
100%. That's what we say all the time. Yeah.
So I think like that is kind of the female perspective. Is like it's critical. We're aware of the fact that tools have been used against us in a lot of different ways. We're aware that this world was not really built with us in mind or with our best interests in mind. And it was not built for us to be either the users or the builders. But I am for women empowering themselves. Like, learn how to use this. I think use it, learn how to use it, like wield it well. And then if you choose not to, don't. But I'm also not caught up in the bandwagon. Like, it's not, I'm not interested in the race. Like, so I think that's where the conflict with her statement was. Like, I don't buy it's a rush. You'll get left behind. If you don't know, you better I don't buy any of that. It's like, there are tools out there, and, I like went to school before the internet. Like I learned how to use the internet. Like that's what Gen X does. Like we've seen it all, right? Like we've seen the internet, we've seen social media, we've seen, mobile phones, we've seen smartphones. Now it's AI. Like there'll be something else. Like just learn how to use the thing.
I agree with you and I don't. And so one thing, I want to go back. I want to say a thing and then I'm going to say another thing. So the first thing that I'm going to say is I agree with you and I don't, because I think that this technology is going to change so many aspects of our societies and our economies. And that my worry is less on the productivity side and more on what I'm calling AI enfranchisement. That women have a say in how these tools are deployed in their societies and their economies. And to me, as an advocate, I don't think you can be a really credible advocate unless you're using the tools.
Yes, I agree with you. Learn how to use it.
That's where I'm with Reese Witherspoon. Where like you got to figure if you cannot stand on the sidelines at this moment. And I think what's really important is things like people jumping in and doing things like the pledge that you're doing, right? This is it takes a critical thinker that's looking around. And I'm going to ask you to talk about this.
Yeah, of course.
It's looking around and be like, we're going off, like we are potentially going off a cliff. Let's not go off the cliff. We have options, right? Like we're gonna keep driving in this direction. That's what's gonna happen. But how about we take a slight turn off the cliff and try to make this positive for humanity? So would you mind talking about the how you conceptualize the pledge and how you're going to incentivize people to sign up to the pledge?
Yeah, so let me explain what the pledge is to our listeners. So the Positive Tech Institute, which I am the founding executive director with like an incredible team, thank goodness, not just me. And the gap that we saw and that we're trying to address, and the pledge is sort of like the first thing in that gap, is that, from my experience in academia for over many years, there are a lot of people who have been thinking about whatever you want to call it now. There's a human-centered tech, responsible AI, pro-social AI. There's lots of ethical AI. There's lots of great names for it. They've been thinking about this for a while, like where it's not in the guardrails and the governments, like people have been thinking about this, but they're like isolated in the ivory tower and they're like writing white papers for each other, right? And then at the same time here in Silicon Valley, especially now, there's just so many companies that are mushrooming up everywhere. Every 20-year-old has a startup. Like,
there's all of it. For those of you who haven't been to San Francisco recently, every single billboard is an AI billboard.
And I have so many mailing lists of like this group and there's 100,000 members of this group and they're all doing startups and they're all building stuff. These people do not want to destroy humanity with what they're building. They're not like evil, but they're just like making the next thing, but they don't have the bandwidth to like read all the white papers and understand the guidelines, right? So they're over here doing the building thing sort of in a uninformed way and like really focused on the bottom line. So, and then, the third leg of that stool that's really valuable and difficult to get, but it exists, are the values aligned funders. Right. The people who want to support these things, but like, where are they? And, Mika, our co-founder, I don't know if you guys were there yesterday in the morning or in the evening where she spoke, but she made,
tell us who Mika is.
So Miko Nishi is one of the co-founders and chair of the board at Positive Tech Institute. And she also is a general partner at Portal Ventures. And so they have there's VC firm that has an investment thesis focused on positive technology. And their argument is that this is not a nice thing to do. Right. This is that trust and sovereignty is going to be at the root financial success and risk avoidance in the future. Yeah. So then separately is PTI, which is the nonprofit branch. But the point is that like, that is the argument. Those are the three groups, the thinkers, the funders, and the builders that we want to connect. And the first thing that we decided to do was to create this pledge. And the pledge outlines kind of the core values. And I spent some time looking at a lot of different technology values documents, a lot of stuff from the UN. And we kind of settled on the 3 core values of sovereignty, well-being, and abundance for all. Mm-hmm. And it goes into more details. But I think at the root of the pledge is a forward-looking perspective versus a fear-based perspective.
So it's a positive vision.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Positive technology. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of fear around AI. It's existential risk. It's going to destroy the world. We need to, it's this terrible thing, but we need to build it. It's going to destroy us, but it's imperative that we build it because China.
That's the name of the episode right there. It's a terrible thing, but we need to build it.
Right? Like, and so our perspective is like, okay, you know, that's good. There's the people who are worried about the risk and it's a real worry. And there's the people that want to deal with all that. But what if we focused on what we want things to look like?
Wow, yeah.
Like, what if we thought about, like, well, what's the world that we want to build? What does a healthy, thriving, flourishing, socio-technical world look like? Like, can we imagine that? Because it's hard to imagine, actually. Yeah. And then, you know, if we did do that, what are the tools that we would use to do that? And what are the values that we would embed in those tools? And so that's the pledge. And we would love to have everyone sign it, from individuals to companies to, you know, groups to collectives, everybody. And it's not limited necessarily, like not everyone falls into the builder, thinker, funder, but everyone is a stakeholder.
Right. Everyone is a stakeholder. That's what I'm talking about, AI enfranchisement.
Yes.
Did I say this on this podcast? I've said so many. You've talked a lot today. But yeah, that's. I think that's core.
So when I think about that shift of, because fear feels future facing, but it feels very much like the now of what is going to be. I feel sucked in to.
It's such a weird, powerful narrative. Like, have you guys seen, there's a meme that's like, science fiction writer said, don't build the terrible orphan crushing machine, you know, like, and then like tech people are like, why don't we build the terrible? It's like, you know, Palantir. You know, like, why? Well, like, it's such a pervasive, ridiculous narrative.
Capitalism.
Yeah, well, the late stage capitalism. But I think, okay, in terms of the shift, and it's so much of a mental shift, it's an emotional shift, it's a collective shift to try to focus on, and it feels almost like it's not a naive thing to say, but it I think on first glance, people are like, what do you mean focus on the positive? Like, but I'm just curious about, like, if you push this, when you hear people who are really anti, who are virulent, like who are absolutely frustrated and scared and everything, like, how do you counter that? And how do you bring that into like, no, we're going to build this.
Have you heard of the phrase protopia?
I think I have, but I'd love for you to.
Utopia is this like perfect fantasy world that isn't realistic. And like you said, it's like Pollyanna, and we're, you know, protopia is like, what is the best that we can do? Like, we're humans, we're flawed, you know? And so for the people who hate AI, it's like, that's okay. Like, you hate it, don't use it. You know, the environmental damage is real. Like, you don't want to, like, it's it is not an inherent good and benefit for society, generative AI. Like, we somehow lived for years without it. And, you know, if it disappeared off the planet right now, we would all be okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? But also, it's a useful tool. Like, that's all it is. And I mean, we could get started on the whole consciousness thing. There's a lot of people in the AI ethics space that call LLM spicy autocorrect.
Oh, that's very good. That's another good episode title.
We're gonna have so many. We're gonna be spoiled.
I mean, I could give you some names, but you know, the idea is like this whole, like, the personification of AI that really drives me bananas. Yeah. Like, that's human nature. Sorry, I'm going a little bit all over the place here.
Yeah.
But like, it is human nature to kind of anthropomorphize objects. Like, if I was like, look at this bottle, now it's your friend,
Isn't it cute?
like, isn't it cute? But like now, or if it's like a pencil and then I broke it, and then you'd be like, oh, you broke your friend.
Yeah.
Like right away.
Yeah.
And so AI companies take that and they like capitalize on that and leverage that to have you become attached to your.
That's very true.
There was a story that came out just a couple of days ago that I just wish was satire, but it's not. And it was about the most recent shooting. I'm trying to remember where it was, but that ChatGPT encouraged the shooter to target children.
Oh,
like, this is a tool that is out, and like it's so ridiculous. That is so ridiculous that exists. Like, those are some really baseline ground rules and guardrails that we should have.
How did that ever come into being? How is there not, people didn't think ahead enough with this country and our history of mass shootings against children? How did we not prepare for that?
Yeah. Well, so if I was building an LLM, right, and I needed to think about how to do it ethically, I think that's a big challenge. Like, putting those guardrails, it's not easy. I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's like, maybe don't put out the flawed, horrific tool. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. I have a couple questions. One question is,
I feel like I went all over the place.
Early version of Anthropic, Claude model, was trained on international human rights principles. Wouldn't that protect against?
Yeah, I mean, those are the kinds of things that you would like to do. I mean, just like you have to keep going and keep checking. And, I think one of the things that's interesting, if you think about like the ecosystem of people in this space, and it kind of comes back to a little bit to what you guys were saying about women in AI, sort of at the root of what you're doing. There are the like AI safety people and the AI ethics people. Have you seen this sort of distinction?
Oh, between safety and ethics.
Yes, yes. Because the AI safety people narrative is AI could destroy society, and we have to like really put in the guardrails to make sure that we don't develop an AI that will destroy humanity, essentially. And that is an abstract thing that's going to happen sometime in the future, and we need to work on that.
It's like the bioweapons stuff.
Yeah. And just in general, the paperclip thing where like the
We're not talking about Clippy from Microsoft.
No. We're talking about the thing that, like, if you told AI to optimize for paperclips, it would then
it'll create,
destroy humans because humans are like stand in the way to optimizing for paperclips. But so that's that group, and then the AI ethics people are the people that are saying there are challenges right now today, like. Algorithms are making decisions now that in the criminal justice system, in finance, in jobs that are affecting you now, and we should focus on that.
It's a really helpful distinction.
And I'm just going to say it. AI safety people are usually white guys, and the AI ethics people are mostly women and people of color and marginalized communities.
Who feel it.
Who feel it now today.
Feel the damages now.
And the thing about it that's frustrating to me a little bit is that like those two are actually not in conflict with each other.
Right.
And that the insights and the wisdom and the lessons that you get from addressing today's problem can be applied to tomorrow. So like, why you shouldn't even be fighting each other. Like you should be in the same category.
Absolutely.
Like the infighting is a little silly, but it is true. And I know that when I started going to like all the responsible AI and the responsible technology events, I was really excited at first about how many women and people of color were there. And then I was like, well, where's the straight white dudes? Like, we need them. Like, I'd be putting a panel together and I'd be like, I need a white guy.
The problem is normal. Yeah.
This is now another episode title. Yeah. Where are the straight white guys? We need them.
in this, like not in specifically in the ethics space. Yes, absolutely.
Because it's a burden, right? It's a burden. I mean, it's one that we're happy to carry, but it's a lot of work.
Well, this comes up because, so I've been working with this woman named Manuela who works with the Stanford McCoy Family Center for Ethics and Society, and they have developed an ethics toolkit. And the toolkit is like a series of exercises and activities for people who want to think ethically about a project. And we've been talking about this. It's a great toolkit. It's publicly available. I encourage everybody to check it out. And in some of the conversations today, someone was talking about ethics being like, was it like BS that slows you down? Or like that wasn't their perspective, but the perspective that many people have. It's like, that's what you're working against, is the people who think that ethics are the BS that slows you down versus the people who understand that ethics are like at the root of creating something that is going to be sustainable and effective for the long term.
The BS that slows you down. I mean, where do you see, because like this has been in many ways, like I think a through line, if we bring it to you in your career, like where have you seen that ebb and wane in terms of people's, I don't know, criticism of being like, oh no, that's just being obstructionist. We talked about this on a previous episode, but it's like, do you think that that has always been the case of people saying like, oh no, we don't really need governance guardrails? I feel like Silicon Valley is so famous for being like, move fast, break things, like, and is it always been?
I was just talking about that. Like, move fast and break things is so stupid. Because at the end, you get broken things.
Yeah.
Like, who does that help?
Yeah.
I mean, I think there has been a narrative, even before AI, even before the internet, that innovation has to be free and quick, rapid. And I don't want to say like thoughtless in a way, like like being thoughtful and being innovative are somehow like at odds with each other. Yeah, and that like or like necessarily being like socially beneficial and being financially successful are also at odds with each other. And it's all of these things are so silly to me. I like. We have the power to create the world that we want. Right. Like, fundamentally, at least I hope so. And so, what do you want it to look like? Do you want it to look like innovation that destroys things, or do you want to look like innovation that fosters things?
I once heard a civil rights leader say, efficiency is the enemy of equity. That was one thing that I was going to say. And then the other thing I was going to say is one of the best books I ever read was Caroline Criado Perez's Invisible Women. I talk about it all the time. Have you read it? Because you're like speaking it.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's all about how men are treated as default humans and whatever is considered, and men see themselves as, largely like benevolent, right? And so they think that the things that are good for them will be good for us and everybody. And so, and what Caroline Criado Perez calls is, it's a product of not thinking. So it just reminded me of what you just said, that the benefit is to not think and move fast. But when you don't think and you don't move fast, you're not consultative. You're not asking other people, like, how is this for you, right? And then you're building these monolithic instruments that then other people who don't fit that form are trying to uncomfortably fit themselves into.
I'm still stuck on efficiency as the enemy of equity. I don't think I agree with that. Because I think it depends on how you describe efficiency. Like, speed might be the enemy of equity, but efficiency to me is deeply thoughtful. Okay. Like, that is an optimized system, is an efficient system. And then, being equitable is part of an optimized system, in my opinion. So
we had a guest on, Jessica Silby, who's at BU Law, but she wrote this paper, How AI Destroys Institutions. And as you can imagine, it's It's a banger.
It's definitely a good time.
Educational institutions or like
like
trust?
democracy.
I'm interested
It's
in
a
this
very
paper,
good paper. I'll send it to you. It's got over like 33,000 downloads. It was released a few months ago, but we had her on, and a lot of the conversation centered around the need and how institutions, meaning how we interact with each other, is very much built on friction, and how efficiency, in some ways, it's not about necessarily optimizing. It's where the system has rough edges and where humans are needed, and where conflict happens and where learning happens. It's all about friction. But I think about, when you think about protopia, I almost think it's a little bit of both, right? Which is like the theme of life in this podcast. But it's like you almost want the things that can be efficient to just work. But I love finding moments for deliberate friction.
Well, I mean, friction is a really fun word because it's coming up all the time.
Right.
Right? Like, because AI gets rid of friction, right? And you need the friction in order to learn, for instance. But I get it. The metaphor that I think about more is like exercising a muscle.
Okay.
Like, I need to get to the top of the hill. Mm-hmm. Am I getting to the top of the hill because the point for me is to get to the top of the hill because there's something that I need to do up there? So for that, I will take the little funicular thing, right? Yeah. But like, I want to get to the top of the hill because I want to enjoy fresh air and I want to get in shape and I've got some muscles I want to exercise and I want to be able to get to the top of the hill on my own because there's some scenario where I might have to carry somebody or do something. Like there's a million reasons why I might want to walk up that hill. And so then I'll walk up the hill. You know what I mean? So like, it's like is it being at the top of the hill is important? Like, or is it
the process?
Who I will be when we get there through the process of getting to the top of the hill, you know?
I like that. We talk a lot about like cognitive surrender and, offloading and everything, but I feel like that's where it is. But you have to be present. You have to have that faculty of being able to say like, what is it that I want right now? And I feel like sometimes that's almost a luxury. Of like,
what pisses me off is that the funicular people are looking down on the hill walking people and being like, why would you do something that stupid as just walk up the hill when you can just take the funicular, as opposed to being like, I wonder why you're walking up the hill. What could I learn from the fact that you're walking? Right?
And
this is the
what are you gonna have at the top of the hill because you're strong, because you just worked a bunch of muscles and you have a whole bunch of information about that landscape because you were in that landscape on your way up, that the person who just got up there is weak and doesn't know the hill. They don't know it because they just took the little shrug.
Cannibals. That's what's going to happen. So I have a question. In the positive vision, investments that you could see manifest within the scenario, amazing. What are some examples that you have in mind?
Oh, that's good. We are finding that there's a lot of people in like the well-being space that are thoughtful innovators. Another space that I think is really cool is the peace tech space. Peace tech. Yeah, which are people who have come from a background of conflict resolution and mediation and are now thinking about how they can use AI and technology to advance that. Wow. So I think that's a fun playground I'd like to continue to play in. But coming back to the well-being thing, like it's kind of industry agnostic in a way, right? It's more about like, okay, I have XYZ product. What are the best technologies that are out there for me to create that product? And how do I really make sure that I am, being responsible with people's data, that I am addressing issues of like algorithmic bias, that I'm thinking about direct and indirect consequences, that I am thinking about listening to my users like really early and not at the very end, you know, that the ethics piece isn't like in a little room somewhere in the like at Meta they had like the responsible tech people like in a corner on the side.
It happens so
like,
often, and they're often women that are running.
Yeah, like over there with, and it's not like this thing that you like tag on at the end, that it's not a set of checklists that you do. But you know, we're new, and I'm excited about all of it, but what I'm really excited about is talking to the founders and like hearing about their authentic challenges, because again, the ivory tower, we write all that stuff in isolation. So there will hopefully be some really good case studies about like, okay, well, and I'm well intentioned, like I really want to do this right. Yeah. And my investors are on board for frickin' once. And they want us to do it right. Now what?
That behavior. Yeah.
Now what? You know, now the hard work begins, you know, and so I'm excited to be able to tell those stories.
I think that's what is one thing that drew me to this week and all of the conversations that we've had here is around what that new funding mechanism looks like, because the current system is not necessarily going to get there. But I think that there's so much that does literally cause me to be more optimistic. Yeah. Saying, okay, there's people who are so thoughtful and who are convening. And I think that I love is this idea of bringing together, it's academia, it's industry, it's how can we, it's a step towards protopia.
I think
it's a step towards protopia.
Yeah, I think, you know, the pledge is like a find the others instrument. That's what it's about. It's like, you know, it's not just, you know, each of you individually signing the pledge. It's also us sharing who else is there and eventually being like, well, we have these companies that have signed the pledge and these individuals that have signed the pledge and these organizations that have signed the pledge. And, you know, let's all continue to collectively move in this direction, because a majority of the world does not want their future determined by like 7 rich white guys. Like most of the world does not want that.
I think we're all in agreement about that. I would venture to say.
You know, I think there's more of us than there are of that.
Right.
And they don't get to write the narrative.